look at my phone there. Whoa.
Yeah, I know. I can see from here.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Steve here, and today I've got a collection of clips ranging from 2 military helicopters carrying a Bigfoot to a giant prehistoric lizard exploring the woods. Coincidence? I think not. Let's jump right in. Before you're tempted to click away, this is actually a paranormal clip. Wait a few seconds and there, see it? To your left in the corner, there's a pair of eyes staring at the woman. That's not exactly normal now, is it? We're not told where exactly this was filmed, only that it was filmed near the woods, and the woman appears to have been exercising or doing yoga. Not sure why she would choose such a location, but then again, there are people who feel much closer to nature. She had her session, went home, and wanted to review her clips. It was at that moment that she noticed that she was not alone in the woods. She uploaded it online seeking answers, but the paranormal community couldn't agree on what we were dealing with. Some thought it was a demon, others a possessed ape, and some an otherworldly being. Given the nature of the clip, I can understand where each of them was coming from. I went through the comments section of the original post and saw comments saying there was more than one set of eyes. One even mentioned there was 2 sets of eyes. This got me watching over and over until I could spot them. Can you? Despite the large number of individuals calling this clip legit, there were still some who believed that this had to be CGI. You've seen the clip. What do you think? While you share your thoughts on that, what do you think of weather manipulation? Do you think it's a stupid idea, or do you think governments are already at it? Well, there are some who believe many of the things we're experiencing with regard to our weather are not as random as we think. With the onset of Hurricane Helene and the damage it has left in its path, especially in North Carolina, these talks have started again. Lives have been lost and damage costs have gone up by the billions. While it may seem easy to dismiss this as nature being nature, members of the paranormal community believe this was planned. Take these floodwaters for instance. On a normal day, nobody would think anything of it. But some of the members of the community with a background in science think it looks eerily familiar. To them, the shape of the waves look like what magnetic fluid looks like when exposed to a magnet. But could water be manipulated like that? Well, they seem to think so. They believe HAARP could be at the center. If you aren't familiar with the project, HAARP, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, is a research project originally funded by the U.S. Air Force, Navy, and the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA for short, primarily for studying the ionosphere. The ionosphere is a part of Earth's upper atmosphere that plays a crucial role in radio wave propagation, which has implications for communication and navigation systems. HAARP uses powerful high-frequency radio transmitters to heat localized areas of the ionosphere, allowing researchers to study its response. The primary goal of the project was to understand and potentially improve radio communications, surveillance, and missile detection capabilities. Over time, HAARP has become the subject of numerous conspiracy theories, with some people claiming it was used for weather manipulation, mind control, or even as a weapon to cause natural disasters like earthquakes and hurricanes. This is due to how the waves of the project work, by heating portions of the ionosphere. It is theoretically possible, according to those in the community, to create the disasters we mentioned. There's also the bit of the vast lithium deposits locked up in the ground beneath North Carolina. That too has been linked to weather manipulation. But what do you guys think? Could there be truth to this, or are we just seeing things that aren't there? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. If I had a penny for every time someone told me Bigfoot was not real, I would be a billionaire by now. But clips like this are always around to try and prove the big guy exists. This clip was uploaded online by Manuel in Oklahoma. According to him, he woke up one day to go about his normal duties when he saw a large creature in the distance. Intrigued and curious, he drew closer with his camera, rolling, and this is what he captured. Now, when this was uploaded, many were excited, stating that this had to be undeniable proof of Bigfoot's existence. I was also excited about the clip, especially because it's not so blurry. Once it started to play, it was very convincing, until I saw its lips, and then the excitement disappeared. Am I the only one who thinks those lips make the thing look like a costume with a bad face mask, or am I being too critical of the details? Speaking of being critical about details, tell me what you see when you look at this. I asked some team members the same question, and they thought we were dealing with something prehistoric, say a dinosaur. I mean, that's not so odd, because that's what I thought too. But then again, they're extinct, so it couldn't be them, right? So I checked the comment section of the original post to see if there was an explanation, and all I got was different perspectives. Some thought it was flying fish, which makes sense, but then again, it doesn't look like there's any water body around. Some also thought it had to be something related to dragons and fairies. Now that I say that out loud, I know how it sounds, but stay with me. While there were otherworldly submissions like the Phoenix and what have you, there was also more grounded theories like it being a drone. If you've been on this channel for a while, you know we have showcased drones, including those made by the military, to look like things like this for espionage purposes. The big question here is, what exactly are we dealing with? Julius thinks it's probably CGI, and my video editor agrees. You've seen the clip too, so what do you think?
Of the incoming projectiles were intercepted.
What the is this? Look at that.
Of the incoming projectiles were intercepted.
What the
Of the incoming projectiles were intercepted.
What the
Of the
Irrespective of where you're watching this from, you probably by now know that there's a war going on in the Middle East. Missiles are firing left and right, and it's not funny. What many do not know, however, is that some of the clips being shown on TV have some strange artifacts on them. If you've been paying attention to this clip, you should have seen it. There's a black tadpole-like object moving on the left side of the screen. At first, I thought this was not right, but there were many in the comments section of the post who saw it too. This has led to many theories in the online community. Some of them are strange and outright bizarre. Some think it's the spirit of death actively at work in the region being caught on camera. Some also think it might be demons instead. There are many who subscribe to the idea it's a jinn, an evil one, to be precise. Some even mentioned aliens, but were not sure how to feel about that one. Did you watch this broadcast? Did you notice anything? If you did, let us know in the comments section.
Of the incoming projectiles were intercepted.
What the is this? Look at that.
Next up, we visit the waters between Haiti and Cuba, where something rather unusual is happening. Take a look.
Oh my god, what the are the... Is that fish? Mark, look at my phone, they're glowing.
Yeah, I know. I can see from here.
What is glowing underneath the ocean?
It's just a different color.
Mom, no. Look. Look at the colors on them. Oh my god.
So this was recorded by someone on a ship, and it's left him puzzled. Sure, the sea is a place of beauty with stuff not many have seen before, but this has many scratching their heads. The individual who uploaded this clip insists there was nothing under the water to make it that colorful. This led to some rather colorful explanations from the community, with some suggesting that it's most probably an underwater UFO. As interesting as that sounds, there are a few individuals who have been on ships who insist that it's definitely a reflection of the ship the individual recorded is in, especially if it's a cruise ship. Unfortunately, I have no experience in this area, since anything that has to do with the deep seas scares me. So if you've been on a cruise ship, can you confirm if this is normal or not?
Oh my god, what the are the... Is that fish? Mark, look at my phone, they're glowing.
Yeah, I know. I can see from here.
What is glowing underneath the ocean?
While you share your experiences, we head over to the island of Cozumel, where numerous sinkholes have opened up. The funny thing is, they allegedly appeared and then later disappeared at the same time. As if that was not weird enough, the sinkholes were also perfectly round, which has got everyone talking. Many have theories, with some claiming this was the sign of the end of times and what have you, but one word caught our attention: HARP. Yes, the same one we mentioned when we spoke about the weather control. Coincidence? Well, Aaron thinks not, but what say you? Is there a Bigfoot in Georgia? Before you answer, take a look at this.
They got Bigfoot. Found him down here in Georgia. Got him dragging him with that helicopter.
The individual who recorded this clip was going about his day like he usually would when he saw something rather unusual in the sky. There were two military helicopters in the sky carrying something large. At first, he thought it was an object, something classified, but the more he looked, the more he felt it might be a living thing. After staring for a while, he was sure it was a Bigfoot and started to record. As you can see from the clip, however, there's no Samsung Ultra with 100% zoom, so the clip is quite blurry. He is, however, convinced that a Bigfoot, and many have asked how he came to that conclusion. He doesn't say much, only that the clip doesn't do the whole thing justice. So you've seen it, so what do you think?
They got Bigfoot. Found him down here in Georgia. Got him dragging him with that helicopter.
How large do you think jellyfish get? Well, look at this clip. This was recorded by a man who was allegedly paddleboarding in South America. See those odd things in the water? That's allegedly jellyfish, and once he noticed them, he decided to stop paddling so he wouldn't trigger any form of aggression from them. If you're wondering if this is real, I did the research so you wouldn't have to. I found out the jellyfish species found in South America can widely vary in size, from small species to some that are quite large. The size of jellyfish depends on the species, and South American waters host a variety of them, including those along the coasts of Brazil, Argentina, and Chile. One of the largest jellyfish in South American waters is the lion's mane jellyfish, also known as Cyana capillata, which can grow quite large. While it's more commonly associated with cold and northern waters, there are reports of large jellyfish of similar species in South American regions. These jellyfish can have tentacles that extend over 30 meters in length, although their bell or main body is typically around 1 to 2 meters across in a very large individual. Other jellyfish like moon jellyfish, scientifically called Orola aurita, which are found along the Atlantic coast of South America, are smaller, with bell diameters usually ranging from 4 to 6 inches. In warmer waters, such as off the coast of the Brazilian coast, species like the Portuguese man-o'-war are often mistaken for jellyfish. Although technically a siphonophore, its tentacles can reach lengths of up to 30 meters, making it one of the largest jellyfish-like creatures in South American waters. So, depending on the species, jellyfish in South America can range from just a few centimeters in size to some with massive tentacles that extend tens of meters. So, I know what you're thinking. Which of them do we see in the clip right now? The answer is, I don't know. Any experts around? While the experts do the talking in the comments section, allow me to show you this. This is an alleged UFO sighting that popped up in my feed. Initially, I was excited because Aaron is the one who brings those clips. I wanted something genuine and authentic from myself, but the more I looked at this, the more I felt it was not really or genuine. In a bit, to avoid being laughed at or teased, I added this discreetly to our list of clips for the day. So you've seen it. Do you think it's genuine? Let me know in the comments section. A little disclaimer though, I have a hard time believing this is a real deal. That's out of the way, let's hear your thoughts. Speaking of things I'm not sure are real or not, take a closer look at this. What do you see? In case it was not already clear, the one who uploaded this believes he captured a Bigfoot in his backyard. While I would very much love to believe him, the problem is that the capture is not exactly clear, so I can't tell what we're looking at. Our video editor tried enhancing, but not much came of the capture. I want to believe him, but I just can't see anything. Can you? Trees can grow to incredible sizes, and sometimes they even seem big enough to hide a person inside. One day, as a passerby was strolling by an enormous tree, something strange caught his eye. There was a hole in the tree, which is pretty normal, right? But when he got closer, he saw something eerie. Inside the hollow space was an eye. This wasn't a human eye, it was far too small for that. The skin around it had an unusual pattern, almost like a zebra. But instead of black and white, it was a mix of earthy browns. It was staring right at him from the dark hollow of the tree. What kind of creature has an eye like this, tucked away inside a tree? Is this some kind of hidden forest dweller, an animal we've never encountered, or could this be something even more mysterious? Whatever it is, it's unsettling. Let's break down this strange footage, which was captured by a street security camera in an undisclosed location. In the clip, a dark ghostly figure can be seen moving across the street, emerging from the nearby woodland. At first glance, it seems almost transparent, its form shifting as it moves, with the upper part of its body appearing more visible than the lower half. The figure's bipedal movement makes it clear that whatever this is, it's not an animal. One thing that stands out is the figure's posture. The upper body appears hunched or bent, giving it an eerie, unnatural appearance. It doesn't quite resemble the typical idea of a ghost, especially not a human one. Its proportions are strange, almost as if it's something not of this world. Some have speculated that it could be an alien, perhaps some using some kind of cloaking technology. Others argued that this could be some form of shadow on the camera. Looking at it, what do you think it could be? Time travel has always been a fascinating concept involving moving through time. We've all seen it in sci-fi movies, but could it actually be real? Take a look at this intriguing footage from the 1980s. A woman in the crowd is seen using what looks like a mobile phone, and not just any phone. She's holding it sideways like she's recording in portrait mode. But mobile phones haven't even been invented yet at the time. And if that's not strange enough, notice the girl standing next to her. She looks completely shocked, staring at the device in disbelief. So, what's going on here? How could this woman possibly be using a mobile phone decades before they were available? This isn't the only case either. There are other instances where people seem to be using futuristic devices way before their time. Could this be proof that time travelers exist, or is there some other explanation we've missed? I can't confirm the authenticity of this clip, but what do you think? A man was trekking through the Cambodian jungle when he stumbled upon a peculiar plant. At first glance, it seemed to be an ordinary flower. It had long, delicate white petals that appeared almost paper thin. Intrigued by its unusual appearance, he brought his palm closer to get a better look. But then, something unexpected happened. The white petals suddenly flew off the plant into the air. What just happened? Was it some kind of insect disguised as a flower, or were their strange white shapes actually a part of the plant? Has anyone seen anything like this before? A man stumbled upon a random egg lying on the ground in tiny stones and sand. As he reached out to pick it up, he noticed something eerie. There was an eye staring back at him from beside the egg. The eye belonged to a massive creature hidden beneath the sand, watching his every move. The man froze, realizing that whatever this creature was, it was far from ordinary. Now everyone is baffled. Some believe it could be a crocodile, while others think it might be just some kind of bird. But with only the eye visible, it's hard to tell what kind of animal this is. What do you think? Could this mysterious creature be guarding its egg, or is it something entirely different?
We're looking at souls inside the dust particles, because why is it so bright? Look at them. I'm gonna zoom in again. Bro, see that? That's bright as hell. No, bro, that.
This footage was taken by a group of people walking through the city one night when they noticed something truly strange. Two beams of light were shooting into the sky, and around those beams were tiny shiny orbs flying in a mesmerizing pattern. The person who recorded the footage claims that there are orbs and they are souls. In the comments of the video, one person shared an eerie experience of their own, writing, "I went up on the rooftop on 9/11 to the building on Wall Street, and yes, this can be seen. I don't think it's birds or bugs. I think it's the souls of people who have tragically passed away. It's certainly a chilling idea. Tiny orbs, souls of the departed rising into the sky. But could there be another explanation? What do you think? Could these orbs really be the souls of those who have lost their lives, or is there something else at play?"
We're looking at souls inside the dust particles, because why is it so bright? Look at them. I'm gonna zoom in again. Bro, see that? That's bright as hell. No, bro, that.
At Fox Creek, Alberta, a man stumbled upon something unusual while walking near a sandy area by the water. The sand was soft and untouched, except for a set of massive footprints. These weren't your ordinary footprints. They were barefoot and human-like, but significantly larger, wider, and left deep impressions about 2 inches into the sand. Given the area's reputation for Bigfoot sightings, these prints seem to align with the numerous reports of the elusive creature in the region. Now, if you think that's strange, take a look at this next image. It was captured by a truck driver's dash cam in Alberta. The driver had pulled over to pick up some equipment, and as he stepped out of the truck, he noticed something that sent chills down his spine. This massive creature standing behind a tree. Panicked, he bolted back into his truck and drove away, but not before his dashcam recorded a glimpse of the mysterious figure. The creature was estimated to be around 10 feet tall, towering ominously behind the tree. These sightings add to the growing number of encounters with something extraordinary in Alberta. Could these really be signs of Bigfoot? Someone shared this really bizarre footage, and it's left everyone scratching their heads. In the video, there's a man crouched on the floor, and beside him is a fridge with its doors wide open. Everything seems normal until the moment he stands up, accidentally hitting the fridge door with his back. Then all hell breaks loose. The man suddenly goes wild, completely losing it. He starts aggressively ripping the fridge doors off, causing total chaos. What's happening here? Is this some kind of prank, a strange outburst of rage, or is it something else at play that we're not seeing? Some think there's something supernatural going on, perhaps involving a ghost playing pranks on him to his breaking point or getting him possessed. There's not much to go on with using this clip, but I would love to hear your thoughts.
এই কারা এখানে এই কি অবস্থা এই মেয়ে দাঁড়াও আরে
The next footage comes from India, and what happens here is pretty eerie, if I do say so myself. The man behind the camera was walking late at night when he stumbled upon a man and a woman sitting on the ground with their backs turned to him. As soon as the man sitting with the woman notices someone approaching, he immediately got up and started running. Without hesitation, the man with the camera chased after him, but no matter how fast he ran, he couldn't catch up. Meanwhile, the woman remained completely calm and unmoved by what was happening. When the man filming gave up the chase and returned to where the woman was, she had now stood up and was walking away, still keeping her back to him. He tried to get her attention, calling out to her, but she never responded. Then things took a turn for the unsettling. The woman stopped walking and stood behind a tree just out of sight. When the cameraman approached to get a better look at her, what he saw sent him running in terror. She had turned ahead, but her face was obscured by her long black hair, and her glowing eyes stared back at him from behind the strands. Her face was grotesque, almost inhuman. Now we understand why the first man ran off in such a panic. But there's something even more puzzling about this whole situation. If the woman is as terrifying as she appears, who was the man sitting with her in the first place? And why did he flee when he saw the cameraman approaching?
এই কারা এখানে এই কি অবস্থা এই মেয়ে দাঁড়াও আরে
While you ponder over that, watch this footage and tell me what you think is going on. I've watched it several times, but I still can't figure it out. This is from a security camera set up outside someone's home, but it seems to be pointing toward the other house nearby. You can see an orb descending from the sky onto one of the houses, and just as it vanishes, the lights in that house suddenly come on. Then the orb reappears, floating back up into the sky, and as it does, the lights turn off again. It happens a second time, but this time when the orb goes back up, a larger orb appears and suddenly bolts of lightning light up the whole area before the orb vanishes completely. What in the world just happened? Here we've got a military aircraft which appears to be part of the famed Blue Angel squadron flying through the sky. A few seconds into the clip, and what initially looked like one plane appears to be two. They fly side by side in perfect formation, and then both jets rotate at exactly the same time before shooting off in unison. This has confused many, with some calling the appearance of the second plane a glitch in the Matrix. Now, usually the whole community just agrees to this, but this time some are saying it's a matter of perspective. The angle from which the whole thing was shot made it look like a single plane initially, but once the angle was right, the second plane became visible. Not many agree with this assertion though, as they insist this is definitely a glitch. Now, if it's not a glitch, which I don't think it is, I think the flying is absolutely impressive. The synchronization, precision, and control these pilots display are beyond remarkable. They make something so challenging look almost effortless. But then again, I could be wrong. It could really be a glitch. What say you? There are times when you can catch a glimpse of the moon during the day. It might not be super clear, but it's definitely there. Well, one observer happened to spot it and began filming, and then something unexpected happened. In the video, something that looks like some sort of meteor or celestial object appears by the moon. Within seconds, it crashes straight into the moon, and you can actually see the impact. The side where it collides just comes apart, almost like an explosion, and the footage ends abruptly after that. Could this be an authentic moment of a meteor crashing into the moon, or is it clever video editing? On second thought, if something crashed into the moon, we would see it. So what's happening here?
My ladder is walking by itself. No joke. Yeah. I ain't never seen no like this.
If objects could talk, I'm sure they'd have a lot to say, just like in this footage right here. A man was working with a ladder, had it set down, and went to do something else. When he returned, he found this. The ladder was moving on its own. Just look at that. There's no strings attached, no one nearby pulling it, nothing. You could even see the shadow of the ladder moving on the floor, clearly showing no signs of trickery. No wires or strings attached whatsoever. I'm not sure what this man uses the ladder for, but it seems like the ladder is tired and trying to escape from work. Either that or this man deserves some lashes for telling lies, which I think he is telling, by the way.
My ladder is walking by itself. No joke. Yeah. I ain't never seen no like this.
Have you ever heard of an eternal flame? And no, I'm not talking about some sci-fi plot here. I'm talking about real-life eternal flames. Fires that somehow have never gone out. There are only 9 eternal flames in the world, and this is one of them, located at the Shale Creek Preserve in western New York. It's hidden inside layers of rock with a small flame continuously burning. What's even more fascinating is that it's supposed to be near a waterfall, but right now it's mostly dry with just a few drops trickling down. It's amazing to think that something like this exists, nature creating something that just keeps burning without any human intervention. What do you all make of this personally? This video was captured in Anganguillo, Mexico, and was shared by a local resident. In the footage, the resident came across some strange objects hovering in the sky. One of these objects was closer to the ground, making it easier to see its odd shape. It appeared round but had these sharp, pointy edges that made it stand out as something unusual. There was also a second object further up in the sky, although it was much harder to make out clearly. Many who've seen this footage believe that we're looking at what could be some sort of UFO activity. But what are your thoughts on this? At this point, not much seems to surprise me anymore, especially when AI and technology are involved. Just take a look at this footage. Engineers have created a robot that looks exactly like Donald Trump. And when I say it looks real, I mean really real. It's not just Trump either. There are quite a few other public figures who have been replicated using AI and robotics, and it's starting to get eerie. These replicas are so lifelike that it makes you wonder about some of the strange behaviors we sometimes see from these big personalities in public. Could it be that we're hearing robots instead of real people to maintain appearances? Here we have another UFO footage that was shared online, but no one seems to know exactly where it was taken. In the clip, you can see 3 strange objects flying in the sky. Nearby, there's a helicopter seemingly observing or investigating the unusual aerial activity. These flying objects have been reported as UFOs, and based on the footage, it looks like authorities may have been dispatched to check them out. With the footage creating a lot of buzz, it's hard not to wonder. Are we looking at another UFO encounter, or is this just fake? A woman lit a candle and placed it near a hanging ball of clothes, and what happened next was truly eerie. A face appeared on the fabric. You can make out the shape of eyes, nose, mouth, and even what looks like hair. The face seems to have its eyes closed, almost as if it's resting. There's no context given in the footage, so it's unclear where the clothes came from or if there's any background to this strange occurrence. But what do you think? Could this be just a coincidence, a trick of light and shadows, or is there something more mysterious at play here? After the recent hurricanes in America, a strange video surfaced online showing a bizarre creature that had reportedly been washed out of the sea and onto the streets in the middle of a neighborhood. The creature, covered in dark goo, is seen flopping around on the ground, struggling to move. It appears to resemble a giant octopus, its tentacles wiggling in all directions, but many viewers have called the footage into question, believing it had to be a hoax or staged scene. Looking at the clip again, I feel the frame rate for the creature is lower than the actual footage, but what do I know? After a particularly heavy rainfall, a woman noticed some cracks forming on a tarred road. Curious, she went in for a closer look and found something truly odd. Between the cracks, there was a bubbling liquid rising up from the underneath. The liquid was moving as if something beneath the surface was boiling or reacting with the road, creating small pockets of bubbles that popped and fizzled. What's going on down there? Is it simply a reaction between water and the heated road, or could it be a chemical reaction, underground pressure, or perhaps something stranger lurking beneath the surface? While walking through the woods, a man reported hearing strange noises coming from nearby. Curious, he decided to follow the sounds, leading him to a large tree. As he got closer, he realized the noises were coming from behind the tree. When he cautiously walked around it, he was suddenly confronted by something unexpected. Out from the shadows emerged a tall creature with a reptilian face and a brownish body. The sight startled the man, causing him to panic and run off. Now, looking at the video, the creature appears so odd and out of place that it feels hard to believe it's real. The way it moves and looks almost seems staged, leading many, including myself, to think this could very well be a hoax. But what do you think? Remember that recent video of a woman attending to what seemed like a ghost customer? Well, we've got another case that's just as eerie. This time it took place at a motor dealership and was captured by the security cameras. In the footage, you can see the glass door swing open and a woman walks over it talking to someone, but there's no one there. She continues interacting as if a customer was standing right in front of her. Moments later, her colleagues rush out from inside the shop and run to her aid. Just as they touch her, she collapses to the ground, completely unconscious. Now, what could be going on here? Is it some kind of invisible force attacking people, or are ghosts just getting bolder, messing with us? It's no secret that the ocean is one of the creepiest places on Earth, with so many strange and unexplained things lurking in its depths. There are always new mysteries surfacing. Take a look at this, for instance. Some deep-sea adventurers captured this worm-like creature wiggling in the ocean on camera. It was long and slithering, moving gracefully through the water. But here's where things get really weird. After it floated around for a bit, it suddenly dissipated into the water, almost like it turned into dust and just vanished. What could this thing be? At first glance, it looked alive, but then it seemed to melt away in front of their eyes. It's as if the creature had some kind of strange, almost ghostly ability to disappear. Is it some sort of deep-sea phenomenon, or is this something otherworldly? Some educate us in the comments section. In the middle of nowhere, someone captured this footage. In it, a mysterious triangular-shaped craft appears, hovering silently above a mountain. It's not like anything you've ever seen before. Then out of nowhere, a beautiful, bright beam of light shoots down from the craft, illuminating the mountaintop. The light stays there for a while, casting an eerie glow on the rocks and trees below. Just as quickly as it appeared, the craft zips away, disappearing into the sky in a matter of seconds. Was it a UFO? It certainly looked like one. The triangular shape, the mysterious beam, the incredible speed, everything about it screams otherworldly. And what was the purpose of the beam, and where did it go so quickly? Unfortunately, these are questions we can never answer, but what do you think? Is it proof of extraterrestrial life, or is there a more mundane explanation?
Check this out. There's a fire inside the rocks. Dude, those rocks are glowing red.
I want to see.
A man is out for a hike, enjoying the peace and serenity of the woods when he stumbles upon something truly bizarre. Nestled among the trees is a rock formation, but it's not just any ordinary rock. Inside the rock, there's a fire burning. There are no visible flames, but the rocks are glowing red hot, and smoke is seeping out from the sides. How could this be happening? Fires don't just ignite within rocks, do they? Well, there are a few possibilities that might explain this strange phenomenon. One theory is that there could be coal or peat deposits underground. Sometimes these materials can ignite due to spontaneous combustion, often fueled by chemical reactions within the earth. These underground fires can burn for years, even decades, slowly smoldering and causing the surrounding rocks to glow and emit smoke. Another possibility is geothermal activity. In areas with volcanic or geothermal activity, heat from beneath the Earth's crust can cause rocks to become incredibly hot. In some cases, the heat can be so intense that it causes the rocks to glow and produce smoke. But in a more fantastical explanation, perhaps this could be the gateway to hell. Who knows?
There's a fire inside the rocks. Dude, those rocks are glowing red.
I want to see.
This video was captured in the dead of night, and as the recorder ventured deeper into the woods, feeling he was being followed or watched, he decided to say hello.
Hello?
Can you see it?
His voice echoes a friendly hello into the darkness, and in response, an eerie sound emanates from somewhere ahead. Through the camera lens, we catch a glimpse of a peculiar white figure. It doesn't appear to have typical physical features. Instead, it seems to be clad entirely in white clothing with holes strategically cut around the eyes for visibility. Suddenly, this enigmatic creature has its attention on the explorer. In an unexpected twist, it seems to dive, reminiscent of a large fish descending back into the sea. It appears as though the creature is attempting to approach the recorder. This sudden movement prompts an immediate reaction from the explorer. He hastily turns the camera away from the creature and, quite understandably, decides to make a run for it. The identity of this mysterious creature remains a puzzle, and the nature of its response to the explorer's greeting adds an element of intrigue to the encounter. What could this creature be, and why did it react the way it did? These questions linger even among members of the paranormal with no certain answers. What do you think? Have you ever caught an uninvited guest trying to break into your home using the door camera? If you answered yes, did they look like this? Definitely not. The figure in question appears to possess human-like shoulders and arms, which are initially unremarkable. However, a closer examination reveals a striking peculiarity. Its hand, unlike a typical human hand, appears to be twisted and deformed, almost resembling the appendage of a person with a disability. As this mysterious entity continues to navigate through a doorway, its actions become even more confounding. Although the head remains concealed from view for the most part, as it gradually comes into frame, something truly extraordinary emerges. This figure seems to sport a long, elongated snout reminiscent of that of a horse or a dog. The sight is undeniably bizarre and leaves us grappling with a host of questions. What could this entity be? And how can we make sense of its curious combination of human and animal-like features? Is this a mere trick of the camera or something more inexplicable? That we may never find out, but what do you think? Distinguishing between what's real and what's not has become increasingly challenging. I recently came across this fascinating footage that has got members of the paranormal community excited yet scared. In the clip, there is a massive pillar with huge tentacles wrapped around it. It's a sight to behold. However, before we start imagining the existence of colossal octopus monsters, it's worth considering the potential for digital manipulation. Thanks to the advancement in technology, it's gotten relatively easier to create realistic-looking creatures for your videos. This makes some members of our team think this might be nothing more than CGI. While there's a strong assertion, we can't really prove it, but you've seen it. What do you think? Is this merely a result of CGI, or is there something more at play? Please share your thoughts in the comments section.
Sue. Нет. Бургер. Хорошо, стоп. Мясо.
Take a look at this man who appears to be over-friendly with a bear. He leans against the giant fur of the animal, and something is unsettling about the way he interacts with the bear. But that's not even the most concerning part. Watch as the man offers a burger to the bear, but the bear refuses to eat it. The man takes out the ingredients one by one, trying to entice the animal to eat. He shows the bear the patty, then the cheese, then the lettuce and tomato, but the bear still refused to eat. The man continues to pester the bear, urging it to eat. He tries to hand-feed the animal, but it still won't eat. Finally, after much pestering, the bear gets up and walks away from the man. As you watch this scene, you can't help but wonder why the bear refused to eat. Could it be that the bear smelled something unhealthy and inedible from the food? It's concerning to think about what we're putting into our stomachs when we eat these things. Either that or the bear might be vegan and the burger just wasn't meeting the mark.
Том, неправильно. Давай. Том.
Не хочет.
Не хочет. Нет.
The footage you see reveals mysterious movements in the waters of Telemark, Norway. Do you see it? Water isn't supposed to move like that on its own. While it's difficult to determine the exact cause without more information, there could be various natural or man-made factors at play. It's possible that these movements are caused by underwater currents, schools of fish, or even submerged objects. The sounds of a boat's engine in the background might suggest some human activity in the area, but the absence of a visible boat adds to the mystery. The mention of cellular, which means Selma in Norwegian, adds a layer of folklore to the mystery. In Scandinavian folklore, the Selma is often described as a large serpentine lake creature. Many who saw the footage believe that this Selma is responsible. To truly understand what's happening in the video, it would likely require further investigation and analysis by experts in marine biology or environmental science or fisherfolk. Our untrained eyes can't really tell what's going on, and we're excited about the possibility of a monster being responsible. We know there are some among you with trained eyes. To such folks, we ask, what do you see happening? Could you have multiple paranormal experiences and impartation without realizing it? Well, our next clip seems to suggest so.
তো তখন কিন্তু আমি কাছে ছিলাম তখন আর কি পরিস্থিতি হয়েছিল সেটা যদি একটু
The YouTube channel BD Ghost Hunter posted this footage online after their crew ventured into the woods to investigate paranormal activities. As the video begins, one of the crew members is seen standing in front of a tree. However, just a few seconds later, a strange yellowish orb appears and disappears. It's followed by another orb, this time a pink one, which appears on the other side of his head before also vanishing. It's unclear whether these orbs were reflections from their light or something paranormal. However, as the camera person pans the camera with a flashlight, a creature briefly comes into view, watching them from the shadows among two trees.
জায়গাটা এতটা
The individuals are either oblivious to the whole thing or don't seem to care much about it. Why you wouldn't care about something like this baffles me. Either they didn't really see it while filming and only saw it when they were reviewing the footage, or the authenticity of the footage is very much questionable. At least those are our thoughts. What are yours?
How you doing?
Not good.
What's going on?
Okay, Jeremiah, come out here.
According to a recent TikTok video posted by a user named Divine Pisces 444, she is convinced that a portal opened in front of her house for extraterrestrial beings. The user has shared multiple clips showing what she believes to be aliens visiting her home. Take a listen.
In 2021, and it's just been non-stop. 3 houses they arrived to. Ours was the first house, couple houses down, and then further down the road, because we heard the doorbell ring. I don't have a doorbell. It was some type of signal they gave that they were there. You understand what I'm saying? This is my security camera, you guys, picking this shit up.
In the videos, she can be heard describing the strange and unexplainable occurrences happening in her house.
You watch my videos and you go, I don't see anything, because you don't know what they look like. They have come in so many shapes, sizes, forms, colors. Actual creatures have come in my house. Some stood as short as 2 feet, some as tall as 9 feet.
Her voice sounds shaken, and the fear and anxiety are quite evident in her tone. The video has sparked a wave of discussion and speculation on social media, with many people sharing their theories about the possible existence of aliens. What do you think of her encounter? Share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section.
The people that was up on that ship, they were like doing something at that tree, and when they wanted to communicate with me, that whole front of that tree, it would turn into their face, and they would talk to me telepathically.
Speaking of bizarre occurrences, someone allegedly captured this next clip at an unknown location. Enjoy. In the clip, we're introduced to this huge and strange object falling from the sky. The object is almost transparent, and there's people also gathering around to see it. The question on everyone's mind was, what is this? Some people mentioned that it was a weather balloon falling to the ground. Weather balloons are commonly used for atmospheric research and data collection, and it's not uncommon for them to be mistaken for unidentified objects when spotted from a distance. Another mentioned that this was a government project of deception, specifically the blue beam projection. While I can understand the weather balloon bit, I've questions about the blue beam projection. Of all the clips, why would the government share this, assuming we believe the blue beam projection theory? It doesn't add up, does it? Anyway, what do you personally think about the whole thing? Next, we have footage from a daring group of YouTubers from the Sharby channel who embarked on an adventure that led them deep into a remote graveyard within a dense forest. Little did they know that they were about to encounter more than they had bargained for.
Okay, yo, let's get the out of here, man. No, okay, that's it.
Their eerie journey commenced with the discovery of an old crowbar lying ominously on the ground. The very sight of this rusty piece of metal seemed to bother them, but they forged ahead regardless. They then discarded the crowbar and dismissed their unease in their bid to enjoy their adventure. As they delved further into the graveyard, their uneasiness only intensified, especially when they stumbled upon an ancient grave dating back to the 1800s. To their bewilderment, the weather took a bizarre turn and it began to snow. In October, a truly inexplicable phenomenon. The most unsettling discovery was, however, yet to come. a peculiar doll was found leaning against a tombstone. Anyone remotely interested in the paranormal or someone who has at least seen horror movies know dolls in eerie places are to be avoided, and our explorers understood that. At that moment, the adventurers could no longer ignore the eerie aura that surrounded them. With a quick and unanimous decision, they made a hasty exit from the unsettling graveyard, leaving behind an enigma that still lingers in their memories. What do you think about the whole thing?
I told you I wasn't kidding.
This video was filmed inside the Mira Mesa tunnel, which appears to be adorned with graffiti artwork, giving it a distinct and artistic character. A group of friends decided to venture into this tunnel on the night of May the 9th. While it was supposed to be your everyday fun walk, they ended up capturing and experiencing a bizarre series of intriguing events. First, they started hearing things and tried to find the individual or being responsible for it.
I told you I wasn't kidding.
After a few minutes, they're unable to find anyone and they continue their adventure. Then the disturbance returns again, but this time on both sides of the tunnel. Naturally, those eerie events created a heightened sense of tension and uncertainty.
Okay, now we heard it from both sides. All right, let's go.
Fearing for their lives, they decided to leave and walk toward the exit. As they reach the end of the tunnel, we see an assortment of items, including a table and various other objects. We aren't sure why these are here, but the experience raises intriguing questions. Why go there in the dead of the night? Why go at all? What if there was a strange creature or some venomous snake or something in there? Am I overreacting? Well, maybe I am, but perhaps I should ask you too. Would you venture into such a place in the dead of night? How would you have reacted? Tell us in the comments section, and if you've had such an experience in tunnels, please share as well.
Hey! What are you doing over there?
A man was out in the park with his child when something strange happened. The child suddenly turned toward the trees nearby and pointed as if she had seen something. The man, curious and a little unnerved, called out, "Who's there?" while recording the scene on his phone. As he cautiously approached, he noticed movement. There, retreating in the shadows of the woods, was a pale, eerie creature. This wasn't just any creature, it was hunched over, its body bent in a way that was unnatural, and the most unsettling part? Its hands. They were extremely long, almost dragging on the ground as they moved silently away. The creature moved so quietly that you could almost miss it, slipping back into the darkness of the forest. But the man caught it on camera, just enough to leave us all wondering, what could this be? A cryptid lurking in the woods? This next one made my skin crawl. So if you're someone who can't stand seeing things eerily moving together, you might want to skip ahead for about 45 to 60 seconds. Now that's the disclaimer out of the way, so take a look.
What's that? What's that, brother?
What do you think this is? When I first saw this, I didn't know what to make of it until I visited the comments section of the original post. It was then I saw comments like these. Now, I'm no expert, but they may be onto something. There is a real chance that these are indeed worms. If you're here and you work with worms or bait or anything of that sort, can you confirm if that's the case? Thank you in advance.
What's that? What's that, brother?
This intriguing footage was captured in Indonesia during broad daylight, offering a glimpse of the vast landscape adorned with tall orange and red-hued buildings. However, the focal point of this video is an enigmatic creature spotted atop a hill. The creature is dark, tall, and seems to lack visible legs, probably due to how far it is. Upon closer inspection, however, this unidentified creature appears to be moving in a manner reminiscent of a snail or a slug, employing a dragging motion. This unusual sight prompts audible reactions from the people in the vicinity. Their voices fill the background with gasps and pleas, likely expressing their concern and curiosity about the nature of this creature. As the creature continues its journey, it gradually disappears into the unknown, leaving viewers with a lingering mystery. What could this furry fellow be, and how did it manage to move without apparent legs? Members of the paranormal community who saw this, however, believe it's a Bigfoot and only lacks discernible legs because of how far it is. What thinkest thou? This next footage presents us with yet another enigma, a creature that defies easy classification. The individual recording stumbled upon a peculiar entity which left him puzzled. Wanting to have more evidence of his encounter, he filmed it, which is how we have the footage you are seeing on your screen. The creature in question appears to be white and long-necked, with a small body, yet having no legs like a snake, or, given the circumstances, a giant earthworm. Its initial impression is akin to an uprooted, germinating plant placed on a car tire. However, closer scrutiny reveals that this being lacks any discernible eyes or visible means of ingestion or defense. With his curiosity piqued, the observer decides to interact with the creature using a stick, and this unusual encounter takes a surprising turn. The creature responds to the stick's touch by opening its mouth, suggesting a heightened sensitivity to tactile stimuli. Further experimentation follows as the recorder gently prods the creature's rear with the stick. Once again, the creature reacts, this time swiveling its entire neck toward the source of the stimulation, as if attempting to bite the stick. No, not as if it actually means to bite. The identity of this bizarre creature remains elusive. Could it be a previously undiscovered species, perhaps an organism adapted to a unique ecological niche? Or is it something altogether different, defying our understanding of life forms? You tell us. And you know, one more thing, I won't be surprised if one of you actually knows what it is. For the longest time, I always thought that when people were cremated, they were just burnt to ashes, but it turns out that's not the full story. Take a look.
This is what you look like after you come out of the crematorium. You're not ashes. After your bones cool off with this fan, your bones are taken to a grinder, which is over here, that grinds everything up. And then you're turned into that little powder that people call ashes.
It's surprising, right? So after the body is burned, what actually happens is that the bones are left behind, and they don't just crumble into ashes on their own. Instead, these bones are cooled down and then placed into a grinder, which turns them into a fine powder that we typically think of as ashes. I never realized that was how it worked. Honestly, I don't know how to feel about that. It's a bit unsettling to think about, but at least now I know, and the truth is out there. Assuming I was not the only one who didn't know.
Here, that grinds everything up. And then you're turned into that little powder that people call ashes.
Still on Strange Creatures in the Dark, take a look at this clip we found on one of our paranormal platforms.
Something's under my house.
The clip starts off with someone stating that there was something or someone underneath his home. He makes his way there, and there are balloons lined up in a straight line leading toward the dark parts of the lower section. Naturally, he was weirded out by this, but that's when he saw it. There were two beady eyes belonging to a small creature down there he couldn't really see. The eyes reflected in the light, and that's all. He was wondering what the creature was, which is why he uploaded it online. Looking at the clip in its current form, it's hard to say what that is, but if the clip is really genuine, like they're making it out to be, then this has to be a paranormal creature. The big question now is, which exact one? I don't have the answers currently, but I'd love to hear your thought. What do you think we're dealing with here? Now, what do we have here? The lower torso of a woman's legs in a pair of shorts and red heels. It appears to be attached to a table, moving gracefully among a crowd with a platter of food on it. This scene is quite the head-turner, like those mind-boggling magic tricks magicians perform on stage. But here's the twist. This isn't a magic show, it's an actual restaurant. It's fascinating to watch as the legs move cautiously, stopping just at the right moment when someone approaches to take food from the platter, never bumping into anyone. The coordination is so seamless it almost feels like an illusion. This intriguing sight begs the question, what are we really looking at? Is this some advanced piece of robotics at play, or is it an elaborate illusion with a person cleverly hidden in the table, bent over in a contraption to create this effect? Many subscribe to the idea of a lady bent over in there, but what do you think? Are you wondering what exactly it is that you're looking at? Well, believe it or not, this is man-made flesh. Yes, you heard that right. Scientists in Japan have created this incredible living skin. It's made with human cells and has the amazing ability to repair itself when damaged, just like real skin. Now, you might be wondering, why would they make something like this? The answer is fascinating. This living skin is designed for robots. Our once metallic counterparts will now be covered in skin that looks and feels just like ours and can even heal itself. It's like a theory from our imagination, but it's real and happening right now. This breakthrough could change the way we think about robots and how they interact with us. It's a giant leap towards making robots more lifelike and capable of performing delicate tasks that require a human touch. Imagine a robot that can assist in medical surgeries, providing the precision and sensitivity of human skin, or a robot caregiver that feels warm and soft to the touch. Okay, stop imagining. It's a bit creepy. But hey, who knows? It might just be what we need. And the interesting thing is, this is just the beginning. The future holds incredible possibilities as scientists continue to refine and expand this technology. I'm sure very soon we'll really need those tests that confirm I and you are human or robot.
UFO in New York City, y'all. Yo, it's a UFO in New York City. Yo, look at the beams.
Here we have another UFO sighting, this time in the heart of New York City. A driver stuck in traffic noticed something unusual in the night sky. A bright glow was emanating from behind the clouds, and as he zoomed in with his camera, it revealed a peculiar horizontal arrangement of lights. But what could this be? As if the sighting wasn't strange enough, a large ray of light suddenly shot out from the glowing lights and splashed across the sky for a brief moment, illuminating the area. Just as quickly as it appeared, the ray faded and the glow returned to its original state. Many people watching this footage were quick to claim that this was a UFO, pointing to the mysterious nature of the lights and the sudden flash as evidence of something otherworldly. However, skeptics were less convinced. One commenter offered a more grounding explanation, explaining, "Those are just the high beam lights on top of the building at Bryant Park. Stop it." So is this really an unidentified flying object or just an illusion caused by city lights? Share your thoughts.
There's a UFO in New York City, y'all. Yo, it's a UFO in New York City. Yo, look at the beams.
لو سمحت يا جماعة التنانين بتلف حوالين العمارة عندنا. لو سمحتوا بعد إذنكم أنا في منطقة في ظهر العروبة. لو سمحتوا التنانين.
And no, you aren't seeing things. This is actual footage. At least that's what the one who uploaded it said it was. To give you a bit of context, a lady was out at the beach relaxing until she caught a glimpse of that. The creature to her looked like something that belonged to a prehistoric era, as it had a long body with wings resembling those of a bat, and yet somehow retained a bird-like appearance. It was almost as though she was looking at a dinosaur soaring through the sky. But that shouldn't be possible, right? They're extinct, or at least they're supposed to be. She uploaded this seeking clarity, and as always, different opinions were flying left and right and center. When it got to our studio, Julius, the ever-skeptic, suggests that this might be a cleverly constructed model, perhaps something built to mimic a creature from the past. What's even more shocking is the fact that Aaron, our conspiracy theorist, is tempted to side with Julius on this. Weird, right? Anyway, you guys have seen it. What do you think?
لو سمحتوا يا جماعة التنانين بتلف حوالين العمارة عندنا. لو سمحتوا بعد إذنكم أنا في منطقة في ظهر العروبة. لو سمحتوا التنانين.
Imagine being out on the open ocean, the sun shining down, the waves gently rocking your boat. Suddenly you notice something unusual, a disturbance in the water, something big moving beneath the surface. As you can see, that's exactly what the man filming believes is going on. According to him, the waves on the water indicate that whatever is down there isn't that small. He's convinced that what he saw on the day he recorded this had to have been the legendary Loch Ness Monster. You know, the elusive creature that's said to reside in the depths of Loch Ness in Scotland. The very idea of it being spotted in the ocean is both thrilling and baffling. But hold on. Others argue that this mysterious creature might have a more mundane explanation. They suggest it could be a submarine silently gliding through the depths, its presence only betrayed by the subtle waves on the surface. Submarines are designed to be stealthy, so it wouldn't be surprising if one was quietly navigating underwater. Others think the man is trying to create drama where there is none. They think it could be just a normal flowing water and nothing more. You've seen the clip. Which of these do you think is the most plausible and logical? At first glance, you might think this is some sort of AI-generated image of a monster or even a movie poster for a new horror flick, but prepare to be shocked. This is actually a close-up image of an ant. Yes, you heard that right, an ant. Under normal circumstances, ants are tiny creatures that scurry out unnoticed, doing their busy work. We rarely get a good look at them, but with this magnified image, we see the whole new world, one that looks straight out of a sci-fi movie. You have to admit that the ant's face is both fascinating and eerie. Its mandibles and overall structure give it a monstrous appearance, something you'd expect to see on an alien planet rather than in your backyard. Isn't it incredible how something so small can look so terrifying up close? I know you love horror movies because of the thrill they give you, but perhaps you should take an interest in discovering what the small creatures around us look like up close. I'm pretty sure you would find them scarier than your average horror movies.
What is that? I don't have a candle on. You have that Is it lit up? Yeah, it's lit.
A woman came downstairs one evening and was startled by what she found. In the corner of the room, there was a strange sight. Smoke, or what appeared to be smoke, was floating eerily in the air, almost as if it was suspended in place. What makes this even more unsettling is that there was no fire or candlelight anywhere in the house. So where did this mysterious smoke come from? The room was otherwise quiet and untouched, with no obvious source for the strange phenomenon. As she watched, the smoke didn't dissipate like ordinary smoke would. It just lingered there, almost as if it was aware of her presence. Was this some kind of paranormal activity, or could it be something else entirely? An unexplained natural phenomenon, or perhaps a message from something unseen?
I don't have a candle on.
Вот я, простой американский президент, смотрю на всех этих роботов.
When the clip started, did you think that was real? Well, if you did, at least for the first second or two, then you aren't alone. Personally, after the first 5 seconds, I started to suspect this was not real. And once the lady approached it and lifted a part of its head off, I knew I was a pro at determining when something wasn't real. Moving away from my little joke there, you have to wonder if there aren't advanced versions of these things already moving around us. This would explain many of the strange behaviors and actions we've featured on this channel with regard to public figures like politicians and celebrities. What do you think, though?
Вот я, простой американский президент, смотрю на всех этих роботов.
Moving on to something even more unbelievable, I've got a story of a retired Marine officer, Randy Kramer, who's come forward with an astonishing claim. He says he lived on Mars for over 15 years as part of a top-secret space program. Yes, you read that right, Mars. According to Kramer, this secret space program, which has been hidden from the public, involved him and other elite soldiers living and working on the Red Planet. He describes a life beyond Earth where he participated in missions, interacted with extraterrestrial beings, and experienced things that most of us can only imagine. Kramer's account is detailed and vivid. He talks about advanced technology, secret bases, and the challenges of living on Mars. He claims that his time there was spent in service of Earth, protecting us from potential threats and preparing for future interplanetary endeavors. Naturally, these revelations started a mix of skepticism and intrigue. Some people dismiss his story as pure fantasy, while others are captivated by the possibilities it suggests. After all, the idea of a secret Mars colony taps into our deepest curiosities about space exploration and extraterrestrial life. What do you think? Is Randy Kramer sharing a groundbreaking truth, or is this just another wild tale from a possibly disturbed man? Share your thoughts. Have you ever wondered where the idea of the unicorn originated? Interestingly, there's a mention of unicorns in the Bible, but it describes them quite differently from the magical horses we often imagine today. Instead, it likens them to rhinoceroses. But here's the catch. Rhinos have 2 horns, so how does that fit? Let's dive a little deeper. If you look at the first ever Noah Webster dictionary from 1828, it defines a unicorn as an animal with 1 horn known as a monoceros. This definition points to a rhinoceros, not a mythical horse. The dictionary doesn't mention anything about magical creatures galloping through enchanted forests. Now, when you search for rhinoceros in the same dictionary, it describes a 4-legged creature that comes into 2 types, the unicorn with 1 horn and the bisornis with 2 horns. So the rhinos we see today are bisornis, and the unicorns, well, they were a type of rhino with just 1 horn. It's fascinating to think that what we are now considering an extinct species of rhino was once called a unicorn. But over the years, the meaning of unicorn has evolved. We've lost its original definition and turned it into a symbol of fantasy and magic. It makes you wonder about how many other things we've misunderstood or reimagined over time. Share in the comments section below other things we've completely reinterpreted over the years. Still on strange foods, we've got this.
Ay, pero por mucho, ¿por qué hacen Mira. Mira, hasta se me abrió las... Estoy diciendo que mira qué humo hay.
Now, for this one in particular, I've got no answers. I mean, it's not every day you see a green sauce giving off lighting or electricity sparks and sending smoke to the atmosphere. I have no words for it, sincerely. If you have an idea of what's going on here and have answers, then please do share them with us in the comments section, as we'd love to know.
¿Por qué hacen Mira. Hasta se me abrió las... Estoy diciendo que mira qué humo hay.
Around so I can work on it a bit. You hear that?
This man was deep in the Alaskan Triangle, a region notorious for its mysterious and often eerie occurrences. He'd set up his tent in the middle of the wilderness and was working on something late at night when he began to hear some strange noises. Let's listen closely. The sounds outside his tent were unlike anything he'd ever heard before. It was like two very large animals were giggling just beyond the thin walls of his shelter. Initially, he thought it might be wolves, but the noises didn't quite match up with what you'd expect from those animals. The Alaskan Triangle is known for its many reported sightings of Bigfoot, leading some to believe that what we heard that night could be something far more mysterious. You heard the strange sounds, right? So what do you think? What comes to mind when you think of hemp, aka weed? Cannabis? Probably something more in the line with relaxation or medicinal uses, right? Well, an inventive mind has taken things to a whole new altitude, literally. They've created a plane that runs on hemp. Talk about getting high to new heights. Imagine this, a sleek, eco-friendly aircraft soaring through the skies, its engines powered by biofuel derived from hemp. The craft itself is made from hemp composites, which are lightweight yet incredibly strong. This innovation is not just a flight of fancy, but a real testament to the versatility of hemp and its potential to revolutionize industries. Hemp has been known for its industrial uses for centuries, from ropes and sails to textiles and now aviation. The environmental benefits are impressive too. Hemp is a sustainable crop that requires less water and few pesticides than traditional materials used in manufacturing. This hemp plane is more than just a clever pun on getting high, it's a significant step toward greener aviation, literally. With growing concerns about carbon footprints and the environmental impact on air travel, this invention could pave the way for more sustainable solutions in the industry. So next time you think of hemp, don't just think of the recreational or medicinal uses, think of innovation, sustainability, and the exciting future of eco-friendly aviation. Before we move on to the next one, do tell me, would you be willing to book a flight on a hemp-powered plane? Now, what in the world is this creature? Someone shared footage of a bizarre white creature swimming in a fish tank. At first glance, it looks like some sort of toad, but it has this oddly human-like appearance. It almost seems to have a little face with tiny eyes and a mouth that eerily resembles ours. Some people are speculating it might be a mutated amphibian or a genetic anomaly. Others think it could be an entirely new species that we've never encountered before. And of course, there are the more imaginative folks who believe it's evidence of extraterrestrial life right here on Earth. Imagine having something like this in your aquarium. What would you even name it? And how would you explain it to your friends? If Bigfoot and other creatures from folklore can be real, it certainly makes you wonder what other things we see in movies might have a grain of truth to them. Take this footage for example. A resident noticed something strange happening at her neighbor's house one morning. Perched all over her house were white owls, at least 10 of them. Remember the scene from Harry Potter where owls deliver letters? While the owls here aren't as numerous, it's still eerie to see so many of them gathered like this in real life. Makes you think, doesn't it? What could have drawn them all to this particular house? Could there be something more to it, or is it just a curious coincidence? It seems we can never go a day without new footage of a strange object in the sky. If it's not an orb, then it's some kind of craft. This time a man was in his apartment, gazing out over the city lights, when he noticed something unusual moving in the sky. Instinctively, he grabbed his camera and started capturing images. What he captured was a craft, at least that's what it appears to be. There's a long blue light running along the bottom of the object, with smaller red lights dotted its edges. The craft itself is shrouded in darkness, making it impossible to see its shape or structure. Only the eerie light formations are visible against the night sky. But what do you make of these images? Is it just another piece of evidence of something otherworldly, or is there a more mundane explanation? How powerful do you think our sun is? You know what? Hold that thought and watch this. It's a sunny day, and this man has set up an extraordinary contraption in his backyard, a solar death ray. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But this is no fiction. This man harnessed the power of the sun to create a focused beam of light with incredible heat. To demonstrate its power, he places a clementine under it. As he carefully directs the sunlight, something incredible happens. The intense heat burns through the peel almost instantly, and you can see the fruit's juicy interior begin to bubble and sizzle. It's like watching a science experiment unfold before your eyes. The heat is so concentrated that it continues to burn through the fruit, reducing it to ashes in no time. The transformation is dramatic. The vibrant orange clementine, full of life and juice, is incinerated right before your eyes, leaving only a pile of charred remains. While this is interesting to watch, a part of me wishes that juicy clementine would have just been eaten. Back in 2022, a powerful hurricane struck Florida, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Amidst the aftermath, a bizarre and terrifying discovery was made. This creature lodged in a wire fence. The creature had a snake-like body with a very long, menacing mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth. It had an almost crocodile-like appearance, making it look like something straight out of a nightmare. People who saw this online were quick to think it was a monster from the prehistoric era. They started to think that perhaps the dinosaurs and ancient creatures we thought extinct may be living amongst us. Naturally, conspiracies and many theories started to go around, but were they right? Well, no. This is no monster, but rather a fish called an alligator gar. Anyone who lives in the area knows about these creatures. But for individuals like you and me who may be seeing it for the first time, it might look odd and otherworldly. For those unfamiliar with them, alligator gars are large primitive fish that inhabit the fresh waters of the southeastern United States. They're known for their long torpedo-shaped bodies and their crocodile-like heads, which are equipped with sharp interlocking teeth designed for gripping prey. They can grow up to 10 feet long and weigh as much as 350 pounds. Despite their intimidating look, they're generally not a threat to humans, so you've no reason to fear. You're safe. Unless, of course, the crocodiles and alligators teach them how they develop feet. That's a terrifying thought. Think nothing of it. If you are someone with a taste for exotic cuisine, then you might want to try this out. This is suo dui, which basically means suck and throw away. The meal is prepped with these pebbles, so they basically absorb the flavors of the ingredients being thrown into the hot pot. And no, you don't eat them, you suck on them, as the name implies. They also complement the taste of whatever is being prepared. In this clip, we can see the rocks are seasoned with chili, purple perilla, garlic, and rosemary. It's quite the spice fest. And the good news is you don't have to worry about bringing back the stones. You can suck on them as much as you want and then reuse them if you want. Bold men apparently invented this to cater for days and seasons when they had less to eat. Necessity is the mother of all inventions, after all. Is this something you see yourself eating or preparing? Let us know in the comments section. Years ago, the brilliant inventor Nikola Tesla developed a device called the magnifying transmitter. For the longest time, this invention baffled scientists who couldn't fully grasp its purpose or potential. Most believed that Tesla intended to use the device to transmit energy through the atmosphere, a concept they thought would be inefficient and impractical. However, a deeper dive into Tesla's research and patents revealed something astonishing. They had it all wrong. Tesla's true vision was to use the device to transmit energy not through the air, but through the minerals in the ground. The transmitter would send energy through the earth, and the receiver, positioned elsewhere, would collect that energy. This method, Tesla believed, would be far more efficient and could potentially provide limitless energy across vast distances. The magnifying transmitter came in two crucial parts, the transmitter and the receiver, working together to achieve this groundbreaking form of energy transmission. A man woke up one morning and headed out to his car. He then noticed it was covered in a strange dust. At first glance, it looks like regular old dust, but something about it seems off. So he gathers some of the dust and decides to run a little experiment. He grabs a magnet and waves it over the dust. To his amazement, the particles stick to the magnet. Now, this is no ordinary dust. It's magnetic. But where on earth did these magnetic particles come from, and why are they all over this car? There are a few possibilities that we're throwing around on a paranormal platform. One theory is that these particles could be from industrial pollution. Factories and industrial plants often release fine metallic particles into the air, which can travel significant distances before settling. If you live near an industrial area, this might not be so surprising. There are others who think that this is some secret government project. They really believe the government is out there releasing these substances via planes and other means for dubious reasons. While this sounds the most ludicrous, it's the one most believed by the community. But what say you? Now let's dive into the fascinating and bizarre theory shared in a viral video. The footage captures a stunning sunset with the moon rising in the sky. According to the person behind the camera, there's a mechanical hand moving the sun out of view and replacing it with the moon. Sounds wild, right? But take a look for yourself. On the right side of the footage, there's an object that appears to be moving by the sun. The intense brightness of the sun creates shadows, making it hard to discern if there really is an arm there or not. The light is so blinding that any object, mechanical or otherwise, would be difficult to see clearly. This individual believes we're witnessing a mechanical arm orchestrating our daily sunrise and sunset. This implies that celestial events are controlled by some advanced technology rather than natural phenomena. It's a leap from the scientific explanations we know and trust. What's your take on it? Real, or just a product of an overactive imagination? This user certainly does think it's the result of an active imagination, but let us know what you think as well. Stepping away from all that violence, we turn our eyes to a man that keeps a list of the good and the naughty, Santa Claus. If you blink twice, you might miss it, but thank God for replay in slow motion. Do you see it now? There's something or someone in what looks like a sleigh with reindeer moving through the sky at lightning speed. Who do we know that fits the bill? Yes, Santa Claus. But how? He's supposed to be a figment of our imagination, right? Something told to kids to help them act right for their end-of-year gifts. Well, it turns out that's not the case if this clip is to be believed. What do you think, though? Is Santa real? Let us know your stance and the reason for your stance in the comments section. While you do that, it looks like I need to have a conversation with my parents. Still on the strange and bizarre, take a look at this next clip. Pay attention to the fingers. Did you see it? His fingers all of a sudden turned the other way. He even had to drop his pet out of pain. When Aaron sent me the link to the original post, he titled it Ghost Attack, and the moment I watched the clip, I knew why. Many who saw the clip also shared similar views. They believed that this was nothing more than a ghost attack at the supermarket. I find that highly debatable, but nonetheless decided to check the comments section of the original post. Take a look at some of the things I found. This guy stated he had experienced similar. Another mentioned that his pet was probably the way it was because it saw something the man didn't. Others tried to point out that it was nothing more than a finger cramp. You've seen the clip as well, so what do you think? We all know the tragic story of the Titanic, the ship that sank on its maiden voyage in 1912. The legacy of the Titanic has fascinated people for over a century, and many visit exhibits dedicated to this maritime disaster. One such exhibit in Chicago recently experienced something very strange. One morning, staff at the Titanic exhibit arrived to find the entire museum covered in water. Although it had rained heavily the day before, there was no way for the water to have entered the building. Thorough inspections were carried out, but there were no leaks, no broken pipes, nothing to explain the mysterious deluge. This left everyone baffled. How could water appear out of nowhere? According to workers at the exhibit, the place is known for its paranormal activity. One commenter even jovially stated that Jack might be trying to make contact. While we all find that funny, could it be that the tragic events of the real Titanic sinking have left some lingering entities? Entities that, perhaps, are trying to recreate their harrowing experience. Visitors and staff alike have reported strange occurrences from ghostly apparitions to unexplained cold spots and even the sound of a phantom footsteps. Some believe that the souls of those who perished on the fateful night might still be restless. It's a chilling thought. This strange anomaly in the sky was captured and posted, and it's sparking quite the debate online. The footage shows an unusual pattern forming in the sky, almost too surreal to believe. The original poster insists the footage is authentic and not edited. Some believe this could be an alien craft entering our atmosphere, a sight straight out of a sci-fi movie. Others think it might be a portal of some sort, a gateway to another dimension perhaps. There are also those who suggest it's a glitch in the simulation, hinting at the ever-popular theory that our reality might be a sophisticated computer program. On the other hand, skeptics are having none of it. They argue it's all just CGI, a clever trick of digital manipulation. One commenter even suggested it could be ice crystals forming on a glass window, creating an illusion of something otherworldly in the sky. That sounds more logical, but what do you think? Are we looking at evidence of extraterrestrial life, a mysterious portal, or just a simple natural phenomenon misinterpreted? There's also the CGI possibility, but do share your thoughts. Imagine being out in the wild and coming across this. What does it look like to you? Almost everyone I showed this to was convinced it was a snake. Others thought we were looking at the belly of an alligator or croc that was somehow turned over in the water. Looking at it, I guess I understand why they think that, because for a second I thought so too. I have my answer now though, but instead of telling you, let's see if you guys can figure it out. 1, 2, 3. If you thought dog, then you're right. It's a dog. Next, we've got a clip of a child sleeping what appears to be her baby cot. There's a baby cam rolling, and if you pay attention, you'll see it. A cloud of smoke or fog appears to hover over the child. It moves around for a little while, and then the clip ends. The one who uploaded it believes the cam captured a spirit that was visiting the child. Now, there's no way to confirm or disprove that, but it's a common hypothesis people have anytime they find such white, ethereal, and foggy movements or characters around their babies. If you're an avid follower of this channel, then this is probably not the first time you've seen a clip like this. What do you personally think about these kinds of clips? What do you believe is actually happening in them? Share your thoughts in the comments section. A mother and her adorable toddler are about to record a cute video together. The camera is rolling, the mood is light, and everything seems perfect. Then something unexpected happens.
What do you see? I don't like that. Who's there?
The toddler suddenly points to a corner of the room, a tiny face frozen in fear. Confused, the mother looks around but sees nothing unusual. They are alone in the room. The little girl clings to her mother, her small body trembling. The mother asks her what's wrong. Instead of calming down or communicating, the toddler starts to cry. She clings tighter to her mother, and now the mother's confusion turns to fear. She stops filming immediately, with her heart probably racing. What could have frightened a little girl so much? Children are often said to be more sensitive to things adults cannot see or sense. Could it be that she really saw a ghost or an unfriendly spirit?
You're freaking me out. What do you see? What do you see? Oh my god, this is scary.
Still on strange captures in the sky, a passenger aboard a craft captured something truly intriguing on film. They noticed a saucer-shaped object approaching from afar, unmistakably resembling the classic UFO shape we all know from countless movies and stories. As the mysterious craft drew nearer, it simply passed by without any interaction with the plane on which the person filming was. It's fascinating how often we associate UFOs with these iconic saucer shapes. Yes, if this really were an extraterrestrial vehicle, wouldn't its occupants have tried to communicate or at least acknowledge the presence of another human so close by? Unless, of course, they're scouts on a covert mission. Either way, seeing this leaves us with more questions than answers. Anyway, what do you think? Imagine you're out at night and you see this. What's your first reaction? For me, this has got to be a trick question. I am, of course, running out of the place, but not for filming. Somehow the person got closer to get a much better view of everything. Strange if you ask me, especially given the fact that this was recorded at night. What if the creature came to him? How would he have defended himself? How would he have escaped? Well, that didn't happen, but it could have. Obviously, we're dealing with a snake here, but which exact snake and why is it moving like that? Any herpetologist to help us out will be reading. As you share your thoughts, take a look at this footage. The clip you're watching currently was recorded by a man named Todd in a part of the woods he refused to disclose. Why, you ask? Well, if it isn't obvious already, it's because he believes what you're seeing on your screen is actual footage of Bigfoot, and he recorded it himself. According to him, he's seen this humanoid ape-like creature a number of times in the same area, and he's built differently. From its structure to its fur and facial features, although they have some semblance to that of an ape, they at the same time do not look like that of an ape. Based on this, and this alone, he concluded that's Bigfoot. I've looked at this clip several times, and I must say that this is one of the clearest clips we've got of a potential Bigfoot candidate. But is it really Bigfoot? I'll leave that up to you to decide. We all know how innovative AI is, but we also understand the potential dangers when these inventions are taken too far. A man once asked a robot when AI would reach a level where it could design itself, and the robot's response was both truthful and disturbing. Take a look.
Amica, when do you believe AI will reach the level where it can design itself?
Design itself? Huh? That's like asking when a toaster will start making its own bread. AI is a tool, created and controlled by humans. It can optimize certain aspects of its operation, sure, but design itself from scratch? That's a whole different ball game. It requires creativity, innovation, understanding, qualities that are uniquely human. So to answer your question, not anytime soon. And frankly, be careful what you wish for. An AI that can design itself is one step away from an AI that doesn't need humans at all. Now there's a thought to keep you up at night.
Did you hear that? The robot said that if AI could design itself, it wouldn't need humans anymore. It warned the man to be careful what he wished for. So what does this mean? Essentially, the robot is hinting at a future where AI becomes so advanced that it no longer requires human intervention to evolve and improve. This could lead to AI systems that operate independently, possibly even against human interests. It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, AI could solve problems and advance technologies beyond our wildest dreams. On the other hand, we risk creating something we can't control. As exciting as AI developments are, we must also consider ethical guidelines and safety measures to ensure that these powerful tools remain our allies, not our adversaries. This is not just science fiction anymore, it's a real concern. Even Elon Musk has voiced his worries about AI's potential to outpace human control. When the very robots we create start warning us about the implications of their advancement, it's time to sit up and take notice. Many took it as a joke, but I didn't. Did you?
Be careful what you wish for. An AI that can design itself is one step away from an AI that doesn't need humans at all. Now there's a thought to keep you up at night.
Next, we've got this photo that was taken by a man driving home late at night. In the darkness, standing on two legs with glowing eyes fixed directly on him, was a strange creature at the edge of the forest in central Kentucky. The creature appeared dark and foreboding, with its eyes shining in the night, and its silhouette hard to make out clearly. But it definitely stood out against the backdrop of the trees. Many people who have seen this photo are divided on what it could be. Some believe it might be a bear, but the shape and posture are unusual for that. Others, particularly those intrigued by the paranormal, are not so convinced. They speculate that it could be a Bigfoot, given its size and the fact that it doesn't resemble a typical slender creature. Still, others suggest it might be another type of cryptid entirely, something yet unidentified and mysterious. Looking at this, it's hard to come to a definite conclusion. The eerie glow of the eyes and the dark, bulky figure certainly add to the sense of mystery. What do you think? I know we've seen a lot of things on this channel, but it's clips like this that always have me asking, what the hell is that? I mean, this does not look like any natural occurring animal species on our planet, at least the ones that we're familiar with. This looks like a blend of bat and wolf. It also appears to be humanoid, which brings to mind ancient and mythic creatures such as vampires, werewolves, and even the Dogman. You've seen the clip yourself. What do you think we're dealing with here? One night, a woman was out for a walk when she noticed something strange in the sky. Intrigued and a bit puzzled, she pulled out her phone and started recording a video. What she captured was truly unusual, a strange light glowing behind the clouds. It wasn't too bright, but it had this eerie, otherworldly glow to it. As she stood there, watching and recording, the light seemed to shift and move slightly, almost as if it were alive. It wasn't the usual kind of light you'd expect to see in the night sky. It wasn't a plane or a helicopter, and it certainly didn't look like a star or the moon. What could it be? Some people might suggest it's a UFO, a sign of extraterrestrial visitors observing our planet. Others might think it's a natural phenomenon, like ball lightning or a rare atmospheric event that we don't fully understand yet. Julius thinks it's CGI, and Aaron thinks there's really something out there. And personally, I've decided to go with whatever you guys think, so I ask, what do you think we're dealing with here?
UFO, bro. UFO!
A man was parked on the side of the road when a large truck drove by with something quite extraordinary tied to its tail. Yes, you guessed it, a saucer-shaped object. Are they transporting a UFO? We see a lot of UFO footage here and there, some looking very convincing like this one, but most of the time there's not much to go by and the authorities rarely comment on such sightings. Could this be the reason why? Have we already made contact? After all, the shape is undeniably the same as the classic UFO design that has permeated popular culture for decades. On the other hand, it's also possible that we're getting it all wrong, and this is just some sort of material that happens to be shaped like a saucer. It could be part of a large industrial apparatus, a component of a wind turbine, or even a large piece of art or a movie prop. Without further context or official explanation, it's challenging to pin down the exact nature of what's being transported. But what are your thoughts on this?
UFO, bro. UFO!
Still on the subject of UFOs, take a look at this. When was the last time you saw a cloud move with a light source in it like that? Aside from that, if you look closely, you'll see what looks like a force field around the cloud as it moves. The individual who posted this online was shocked and weirded out by the whole thing. He wanted answers, but Aaron stated that sometimes things are just what they look like. There's no explanation needed. And by that he means that if it looks alien, then, well, it's definitely alien. What say you? What do you think is actually happening here as well? For a bit of context, we've got some meat, or at least part of it, moving on its own. It appears to be freshly cut, which has me wondering, can freshly cut meat move on its own? Well, the answer is yes. It is possible for freshly cut meat to move on its own. This could be due to residual nerve activity. After an animal is slaughtered, the nerves in its muscles can remain active for a short period. If the meat is very fresh, these nerve endings might still send electrical impulses, causing the meat to contract and move. This phenomenon is more common in certain types of meat, like frogs' legs or fish, where the nerves are particularly responsive. Additionally, factors like the application of salt or changes in temperature can stimulate these nerve endings, triggering muscle contractions even after the meat is being cut. While it can be unsettling to witness, this movement is a natural and temporary reaction, not an indication that the meat is alive. It's simply a result of the biological processes that continue briefly after death. I had to take a mini science course for this one, so a like and a sub at this point would be great. No? A group of friends were out on the ocean in a speedboat enjoying the sun and the waves when they noticed something unusual moving on the water's surface. At first, it was so fast that they thought it might be a bird. But what would a bird be doing skimming so low over the water like that? As they got closer, they realized this was no bird. It was a strange-looking creature gliding above the waves. The friends watched in amazement as the creature seemed to fly over the water, moving with incredible speed and grace. In fact, it was a fish. Yes, a flying fish, and yes, a fish that flies. They exist even if they could only glide for a few meters before going back in the water. Flying fish have adapted to escape predators by propelling themselves out of the water and gliding through the air. Their long wing-like fins allow them to stay airborne for an impressive distance. When threatened, these fish can leap out of the water, spreading their pectoral fins and gliding over the surface before splashing back down. Impressive if you ask me.
Here's a conspiracy theory I think might be true. Last week, a Tesla crashed through a wall of my house. I was home when it happened. The first thing I did was check to make sure my roommate was okay. Then I called 911. Then I went outside and started taking pictures of the crash. My first picture was at 5:07 p.m. My first picture of the tow truck drivers trying to take the Tesla out of here was at 5:10 p.m. It had literally just happened minutes earlier, and so I was like, hey, can we pause for a second? Like, the cops are on their way right now, and the tow truck driver actually said to me, fuck you. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me, dude? Like, my house just got ran into. Have some empathy. And no joke, he goes, here's your empathy. And I was like, oh my God, you're being that much of a dick right now? And he goes, get the fuck out of my way. And then he shoved me and he threatened to beat me up and kill me if I didn't let him get the car out of there. So my question is Tesla's automatic crash system alerting tow truck drivers? And are they offering them a bunch of money to get the car out of a situation before news cameras show up? They don't want any more negative press because those tow truck drivers were here so fast and they were so aggressive, there had to be a bunch of money on the line.
We all know the cutting-edge tech that Tesla is bringing out these days, from their highly intelligent robots to their self-driving cars. However, lately, there have been quite a few reports of Tesla cars crashing. Take this situation shared on TikTok. A man's Tesla crashed into his house, and when the tow truck arrived to haul it away, the driver was not willing to wait for the police. He was very aggressive and hostile about it, and when the homeowner insisted he wait, the tow truck driver even threatened to beat him up. The homeowner raised an eyebrow and suggested Tesla might be paying tow truck companies to swiftly clean up Tesla crashes. Sounds extreme, right? But then another commenter on the video chimed in. My uncle is a tow truck driver, and his dispatch always rushes him if it's a Tesla crash. They pay 5 to 10 times more than compared to other vehicles. Tesla is definitely trying to hide all crashes. Well, what's going on here? Could Tesla really be orchestrating cover-ups to maintain their image? It's quite a theory, and while it might sound like something out of a conspiracy novel, it certainly raises questions. Are these high-tech marvels facing more issues than we know? Are they even safe at all? Could this all be treated as a series of coincidences? I don't know about you, but I'm going to investigate this some more. Until then, please do share what you think or any experiences you may have had involving these vehicles.
And he goes, "Get the fuck out of my way," and then he shoved me and he threatened to beat me up and kill me if I didn't let him get the car out of there. So my question is Tesla's automatic crash system alerting tow truck drivers, and are they offering them a bunch of money to get the car out of a situation before news cameras show up?
I had to watch this clip several times to try and understand what's happening in it. The ground appears to be at the mercy of something very large moving through and on it. After multiple viewing sessions, I'm tempted to believe it's a large snake or some other type of reptile. The individual who uploaded it didn't give much info or context to the clip. He expected us to piece it together and also refused to state where he recorded it. The big question now is that really real, or is someone just playing games with us? Let's just say, if that's actually real, then those that live around the area are in some serious trouble, wouldn't you agree? While you decide on that, permit me to ask, are you familiar with the TR3B? If you aren't, then today's your lucky day. The TR3B is a subject of conspiracy theories, often described as a secretive, triangular-shaped aircraft developed by the US government. Allegedly, this craft uses advanced anti-gravity technology, allowing it to hover silently and move at incredible speeds. Sightings of such triangular UFOs, especially in the US and Europe, have been linked to the TR3B, with many believing it was created using reverse-engineered alien technology. Yes, alien tech. This theory is bolstered by the idea that it was developed as part of a classified military project, possibly at Area 51. Despite its popularity in UFO and conspiracy circles, the existence of the TR3B is widely disputed. There's no concrete evidence to support the claims, and many experts suggest that sightings attributed to the TR3B could be misidentified aircraft or natural phenomena. Additionally, the technology described in these theories is considered far beyond current human capabilities, leading most to regard the TR3B as a myth fueled by hoaxes and misinformation. But is it though? Ha ha. And it's time for today's bonus clip. Do you know what creature this guy is? If you do, please let us know in the comments section. Remember, the best answers get a feature and a shout out in our next clip. That could be you. All the best. The Appalachian Mountains are one of the most mysterious and eerie places in the world. Those who have ventured there often return with chilling tales of their encounters. One man's experience stands out as particularly unsettling. While exploring the dense forest, a pair of twins stumbled upon a pipe installed into the ground. Curiosity piqued, and they decided to investigate. They attached a GoPro camera and a torch to a string and lowered them into the pipe. The pipe seemed endless, and it took a while for the camera to reach the other side. As it descended, you can hear the faint sound of water trickling. Just before the camera hit the ground, it caught a glimpse of something moving in the corner of the lens. Then, an eerie, heavy breathing sound filled the audio. Though the camera didn't capture a clear image of whatever was down there, the sound of the breathing was unmistakable. It's clear there's something alive down in that pipe. The big question was, what? No one could tell or give a logical explanation, but then again, the Appalachian Mountains are rich with stories of cryptids and unknown entities, ranging from the legendary Mothman to tales of underground creatures. The dense forests, deep caves, and remote areas make it a perfect setting for such mysteries. What do you think of the clip, though? Is it legit? Could there really be something out of the ordinary down there? Share your thoughts in the comments section. In this footage from 2011 in the Philippines, we witness a remarkable moment. A group of men working together pulls a massive creature from the river, Lolong, one of the largest crocodiles ever recorded. This incredible animal weighed around 1,000 kilograms, about 2,200 pounds, and measured over 20 feet, 6.1 meters in length. To put that into perspective, that's longer than the average car. Lolong wasn't just any crocodile. His sheer size and strength were reminiscent of a creature straight out of prehistoric times. Crocodiles have been around for millions of years, making them some of the closest living relatives to dinosaurs. Often called living fossils, these ancient predators have changed very little over time, surviving mass extinctions and adapting to harsh environments, all while continuing to reign as apex predators in many ecosystems. If the sheer size of that thing doesn't scare you, then perhaps you are the one we should be afraid of. And with that, we end today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone you love, and I will see you in the next one.